Good evening, everyone. This is Rodney with the Triton Wave Market Outlook for Friday, October 26, 2012. All right, let's start off by looking at the S&P. Here's the daily on the left-hand chart. As I explained in the Wednesday video, we had broken all these lines of support that go back all the way to June, and this yellow line going across here at 1421 is a huge line of demarcation. So just to refresh, I wanted to show you. I spent about 10 minutes on this video from Wednesday, October 24th, going over the lines, going over all the information as I see it, and the waves, and why I think we're coming down into a massive sell-off. So please look at that whenever you get a chance. Again, it's Wednesday, October 24th. All right, moving along. We had a kind of like a blasé day on Wednesday, and then I'm sorry. Yeah, on Wednesday it's this candle right here on the daily, and then on Thursday we went up to the 8-period moving average, and almost to the 55. And the 1421 that that I observed in the Wednesday video. So it came up there overnight. By the time it opened up in the morning, it was down around 1410, 1411, and then it took a tumble, and then it actually closed up. I believe it closed up a couple hundred, 2 or 3 handles, maybe 4 handles. Okay, then Amazon and Apple came out with earnings. Now, they both missed, and we're going to take a look at Amazon and Apple and show you what happened. But right now, it is midnight Central Time, or just a little bit after, on 12:22 on early Friday morning. And this is what's happening. It's now below, on the daily, it's below the 89-period exponential moving average, and it's down 1,250 points, 12.5 points. Okay, so let's squinch this up a little bit, and this is in line with what I saw happening as soon as this came up and peaked up here. Actually, when this middle trend line broke, it came down, and I actually thought it was going to just keep on moving because T1 was below 0. But it is an early warning system, so it gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 days to get in and just cherry pick this market to the downside. Now, this is for traders. If you have long-term investments, I strongly suggest that you buy some puts to cover any losses that you are going to incur, because I think we're going to have a thrashing in the market, and it could come further down than most people believe. We're already at this level right now with 1225 level. We're at the level before the Bernanke and ECB move. What did I call that? The Bendraghi crown, I named it. Anyway, so I thought maybe we would have some sideways motion to create some kind of a right shoulder, maybe into the election. But right now, it looks like it's headed directly for the 233. Now, this I used the 233 exponential moving average, not the 200, mainly because everybody else uses the 200. So it's right now selling for 1396, and if if you're lucky enough tomorrow morning that this comes back up to break even, I don't know how it's going to do it, but if you're lucky enough to do it, then I would just like pile in high and deep on some of these puts here, especially on the SPY. My first target is this is the, let me see, 89, the 144 exponential moving average, which is 1386 right here. And then the next target is 1359, 1360. And it's gonna do this. It's gonna zigzag. It may come down all at once. I won't know that until I'm looking at the 21 on the right-hand chart here, or the 4181 tick chart, which I'll show you, or the 1597. So it may zigzag down, but it may take a while to get there, but my target on this is 1320.29, and if you bring that up a little bit, by the time it gets there, it'll probably be about 1333. So before it has any kind of real bounce. Now again, I mentioned on the video the other night that you're welcome to review, that this line right in here, 1267, is a 50% retracement of the major move going all the way back last year. So it's still technically in an uptrend all the way down to 1267, but you wouldn't want to be holding equities long that whole time, because your portfolio is definitely going to shrink. Okay, so on a smaller scale, this is the 21 minute on T2 on the 21 minute. You can see it moved below on 10:08, above on 10:15, below on 10:18, and it's moving above right now, but the action of what's happening overnight is just completely going to negate this move, especially since half of it is below zero, and T5 and T4 and T3 are still below zero. Usually they go up sequentially. First this goes down, then this goes down, then follows 3, T4, T5, and this is above. This followed sequentially T1, T2. These are so far deep they're not in a position to follow through, and this is going to roll over while these are below zero, so that's another indication of a sell. All right, in terms of a daily play on this, for those of you who like day trading, at 8:45 this morning, if you just follow T, or actually in the afternoon at 3:06, if you're trading it overnight. Some of you trade overnight. It moved up here. We're looking at the 987 tick chart, and we're looking at T3 right here. And this is just a perfect scenario. It moves up here at 1404, and if you just followed this to cover, just the green one, then you were out at 413. If you went short here, you covered at 402. If you went long here, you covered at 405. So that last one wasn't too great because it went sideways. And that another indication why I wasn't following I didn't like the 21. I didn't like, I wasn't paying attention too much for this on the upside, because the 987 was just going sideways. So then we came out with the earnings, and this is what happened. I think this came out right at the close. This is let me see, 1409. So right after the close of trading, Amazon came out, and this was down like 1,000. Came back up almost to break even at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Came down a little bit, up a little bit, and right now we're down 1,100. So we already took out the lows from all those announcements from Amazon and Apple. All right, let's take a look and see what happened to Apple today. It went along, it was moving along kind of like, this isn't really good. Let me do a little bit higher one. Let me do a 1597. Let me see it. Let me see. That is, this is today. Let me put a hash mark up here. Okay, that's the beginning of today, so you really can't tell anything with that. Let's go to back to a 987. Can't see anything with that. Let's go all the way down to a 333, 377. You can see that a little bit better. On T2 it goes below 0 to the downside, makes a little hitch up to the upside, and then comes back down again here. But my point is that with all that happened, this was the close, and as soon as they made the announcement, the aftermarket, it went from 609 all the way down to 585. And then this had this tremendous burst on the upside, because the last time this happened, Apple went down 20 or 30 or 40 points and then spent the next month making new all-time highs. So I'm sure there are bottom fishers in here, but nevertheless, Apple's missed the last 3 out of 4 quarters. But more importantly, if you look at the 21-minute, everything is below 0 on the 21-minute cash here. All right, let's look at the daily here. On the daily, T1 below 0, T2, T3, T4 just went below 0 today, on Thursday. So, my target for Apple in the very near future is 570. 568 to 570. And we'll see what happens after that. I'm gonna be paying attention to the 21-minute chart to see what happens. As always, no matter what I say, if you decide to take the trade, you have to use stops in case it doesn't happen. So, but as I see this on the daily, the 8 and the 21 have crossed. They've both crossed the 50, and the 8 has crossed the 89. So I don't see how this can hop up with all the news that's out. Or pop up, not hop up. Okay, same story with Amazon. Amazon actually, let me see where Amazon closed. Hang on. Amazon took a bath from 229 all the way down to 205. And then for some crazy reason, let's see if we can get a tick chart on this. All right, so it came all the way down here. Came all the way down to 205, 204, and then made its way all the way back here. So it closed the evening session at 222, which was what it closed at down. You can see the numbers under the cursor. Right under here, 222.92, and that was down 5.5 points on the day, but it doesn't include the earnings. Shot it down like 20 points, and then it shot back up again and finished somewhere in this area. So because of what's happening with the daily chart, T1 is below 0, T2 is below 0, T3 the last 2 or 3 days is below 0, and let me see, the larger wave is hiding underneath here, right about in here, and T5 is heading in that same direction. So Amazon may, you know, crazy things happen. But since it's already hit the 233, it might just bounce up here a little bit for a couple days. But my target on that is 209. Okay, Goldman Sachs. Let me see. We had a target. The original target was 120 when it came back, when T3 crossed back at 125, 124, 125. Target was 120, then it came back, actually came down to 118, back up to 122, and T1 started to pop above zero, T2 started to pop above zero. It was a counter trend trade, and the target is 115. The target is still 115. My target is still 115, and if that doesn't hold, then the next target is 112. Okay, last one I'm going to look at tonight is Baidu. These are my 4 favorite stocks to play because they have good option liquidity. Amazon, Apple, Goldman, and Baidu, besides the SPY and the ES. It looks like Baidu's just been going sideways for days and days and days and days, and sometimes you get this good hook down from 116 to 106, but and you know, like hook up for 10 points, a hook down for 10 points, and now up 10 points. It's really going sideways. I'm kind of tired of playing it because I look for bigger moves than what's going on, and they never happen. And I don't feel like waiting around, you know, like for once in 3 weeks that it actually makes its move. So it's a very slow, especially now it's just, I mean, these times are okay, but right now it's just going sideways, and the daily's going sideways. So maybe in a market downdraft, this will move down, but right now I'm leaving that one alone. Let's look at GLD actually. GLD on the 21. It was, let me see here. Okay, way back here we were saying that if it gets past this cluster it should be good, and then it started taking this huge ride up. Well, you can see on the right hand chart that it made all these were all moves you could have made up, below, above zero, below zero, above zero, below zero, and all the way down. And even if I move the cursor all the way to the left hand side of the chart, it still doesn't cover everything. You'd have to go all the way back here to cover where that took off, like right in here. Right about right in here. So my point is that once something takes off, there's a lot of plays that you can make on it. It doesn't have to be straight up. And with gold, when it started peaking here, it was already on a descent on T1. All right, let's take a look at Apple one more time here, because I wanted to look at the 377, and I wanted to show you that on the Apple 21. Okay, so let's put these side by side. The 377 as a tradable, something's not right here. That looks terrible. All right, let's look at 21. All right, Apple descending. The cash price is basically is exactly the same. It's just a little bit bigger screen here. But it came up. You can see it more clearly here because the one on the left is a little bit busier. But Apple, as it's coming down, as it came down, actually these may be all. No, that didn't work there. I was looking for plausible extensions, but the you can actually use the waves to see where they're going to move. So the wave on the left-hand side goes down on 10.5. The wave on the right-hand side 10.5. Actually, it was 10.4 on the ABC waves. So this is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5. Triton waves on the left, ABC waves on the right. This is A, B, and C. So these are very playable on the ABC waves. And for those of you that have been watching these videos, you know that the ABC waves are purchasable, are for purchase on tradethemarkets.com, and the Triton waves will not be available. I am not making these available. These are my own private waves. Anyway, tomorrow should be very exciting. Very exciting. Let me see. Let's take one more look here. We're down 11.25 on the ES, and let's see if we can get a daily shot in here. A daily shot, and it's getting crushed. Crushed, crushed, crushed. So we're flirting near the bottom. Tomorrow should be very, very exciting. I'm not sure whether it'll reverse tomorrow, or like flush out in the morning and then try to cover the gap, or just keep on going all day long. You have to look at the bull spread all day and the tick charts and see where this is going to end up. So good luck trading. Have a good weekend, and I will see you at the next update.